Hi, this is Donna with the Waldorf Connection, and I thought I would change up my bi-weekly article and do a video blog post today. I've been meaning to do this for a long time, so we'll see how this one goes. I just wanted to connect with you in a little bit different way. So I hope you enjoy this, and please feel free to leave a comment below. I love to get the interaction and to hear what you guys like and don't like, and any comments you have about the topic today. And the topic today is to get started with planning. I feel this time of year that planning is in the air, and there's all sorts of things happening, and you'll probably be seeing more things, sales going on and curriculums being purchased. And we had a guest, Christy Burns, on our blog last week talking about planning. She gave some great helpful ways to get started, and if you're just a first-time planner, it may seem very overwhelming, or maybe if you've done it before, you're like, I don't want to do it again, kind of a thing. But I wanted to give you sort of some things to think about before you actually start purchasing your curriculum, and actually before you start planning, because if you do set these couple things in motion, it'll make things a lot easier for you, and you'll know which way to go and which type of curriculum you want, and really what your whole homeschool atmosphere will be. So I've got a couple things to talk about here. I'm going to be reading a little just off my outline so I don't miss anything. But the first thing is about goals, what you want for your whole homeschool. I mean, like, why are you even homeschooling? Take a look and do a little reflection. Now, if it's your first time and you're just getting into homeschooling, you probably know some reasons. If you've been doing it for a couple years, sit down and think, why am I still doing it? Is it still being effective? What's missing? What do I need to bring in here? What piece? And I don't mean just like math lessons, but I mean what's missing from the homeschooling. Maybe we need a better rhythm, or we need to tweak something here. I really want to add this one component of art or music or whatever. There's so many variables here. So this is your time. Maybe just get out a journal and do some journaling, or a notebook where you can take some notes and just write out what your goals for your homeschool look like. And then what your day needs to look like. Like, if you could say, if my homeschool looked like this, we get up in the morning and we take a walk and we start our circle time and we're done by lunch, and then after lunch, we have free time, and then we come back together and do handwork. Whatever that sort of ideal picture in your mind is, kind of think about it, and also think about what you've got going on in your life. I mean, and that is another whole subject here, is to not have unrealistic expectations for what you can do and what you can't do. If you have a whole lot of, little children running around, a baby, a toddler, a 4-year-old, a 5-year-old, and an 8-year-old, it may not be the quiet homeschool that you're thinking of, and you may have a little challenge with that. So you have to be realistic in what's actually happening in your life, or if you're moving, or if you have a small apartment, whatever it is, you have to sort of look to see what your reality is. And then, do you want a loose structured homeschool, days, or do you want everything pretty much organized? Do you want to know, week by week what you're going to be doing, or do you want to kind of just leave it loose and then sort of weave in some of yourself, or have the ability to change directions and add or extend a lesson out if your child, needs it or wants to go a little further? And then again, the challenges, younger siblings, special needs, if you're in a small dwelling, if you're on a low budget, if you're working or have a business that you're trying to do. Like, what is your real schedule like, the rest of your life that you have to weave, because homeschooling, will be just another piece in your life that is a huge component, and you don't want to have this thing sitting over here that's going to be really impossible to attain. Based on the expectations you have, you need to say, okay, here's the time I have during the day, here's the energy I can allot to this. Or if you're just sitting home, you have one child, then you've got lots of free time, you can do a more rigorous schedule or a more rigorous curriculum, or something that you want to create yourself. So we'll talk about that in a minute. Also, I want you to take a look at your own style. You know, what are you like? What's your temperament and your personality? Are you a very organized person, you know, who can just kind of go because you know you'll get it all done? Or are you sort of a free spirit, fly by the seat of your pants, you know? And that kind of comes into what you want your homeschool of. You can't expect to follow a very rigorous curriculum with everything mapped out if you're sort of a free spirit type and want to go with the flow. So matching, you know, your homeschool to your personality will really help you and not cause you a lot of frustration in the future if you're realistic about your own temperament and your own type of ways of doing things around the house and your own personality type. That will really help if you can kind of figure that in, and just, you know, maybe you want to be more organized and that's great, and you can, you know, strive to be, but don't be unrealistic about what you think you can get done as far as you know, your own limits or what you really, you know, you don't want to have to become a different person just to homeschool, even though we want to strive to always, you know, become better people and better parents and better teachers. Okay, and then, again, the possibilities, that is based on, look back at your answers, look back what you've, now that you've kind of come up with a few things, kind of your parameters on what your homeschool could look like or should look like or could look, you know, may look like, and then, you know, stay true to that, and don't cause yourself this undue stress by pretending to, you know, be the perfect Waldorf homeschooling mom who's going to be baking 3 or 4 times a week and is going to be doing painting if you have, you know, 4 children and you're trying to work part-time. So, and again, not putting that as unrealistic expectations and just stress. Because we all can start off with this great plan that we do in the summer when nothing else is happening, and then when fall comes and there's sports and there's music lessons and dance lessons and there's you know, just school back in session and other things going on, it makes it really hard to stick to that if you've made a really rigid plan that's very overzealous for what you really can attain. So sort of, you know, take what you've learned there by just taking a look at yourself and your own reflection, and then you can kind of start looking for what curriculum and what books and programs that will fit you, rather than doing it the other way around. Oh, this over here looks really great, and then trying to fit that into your lifestyle, and sometimes that's just not going to work. So take a look at what you've got and then go with that in mind. Oh, I'm really organized, I want to have everything mapped out. So look for a curriculum or some, you know, book program or whatever you're using that is pretty much mapped out. And you really have to look, because some things seem like they're mapped out and they may give you guides and general information, but they're really not mapped out. If you want something week to week, you know, here's my lessons laid out, then really make sure that that's what you're getting. Or if you want to create something on your own, which to some degree is what I try to do, I usually get 2 or 3 different resources, and then I pull from each one what I like, and then I may use a lot of library books, and it depends on what grade you're in and what you're doing. You know, if it's the year of fables, you know, I just check some books from the library. We can find fables, Old Testament books, and you know, there's a lot of those things you can get. And I just kind of created something in my own, but it was based on a couple of things here and there, and that's just my style. Then I can add, you know, my own little flair here and there into it, and maybe a lot of you are doing something similar. So but don't get too much information. I think that's where we kind of get caught up. We have like mountains of books sitting in front of us, and we don't know where to begin. So let's start with this. I'm sure I'll be doing some more posts about planning. This is sort of to kind of get you thinking in terms of what will be the best for you and your family, and then you can go from there, and we'll explore some of the other curriculums out there and what's available. And I would love your questions and comments and what you would like to know further. So please go ahead and leave a comment below on the page below. Let me know what you thought of this, and then what you would like to hear from me going further in this series that we'll be talking about planning. All right, thanks so much. Bye-bye.